Today we're at the Department of Social Services, Wayne County Department of Social Services, and we're here talking with Vicki Jackson. Vicki, I appreciate you being with us. Tell us, first of all, for anyone who may not know what DSS does, what does the Department of Social Services do here in Wayne County?
Yes, well, the Department of Social Services assists the residents of our county in many areas. Just to name a few, it could be medical assistance, food and nutrition services, child care assistance, or energy assistance programs.
Gee, that's a lot. It's an enormous department.
Yes.
And you help a lot of people. Anybody that's in need of some kind of assistance or help, they will come to the Department of Social Services.
Right, exactly.
So what do you do for DSS?
I supervise the Work First, child care, and the energy assistance programs.
And that's got to keep you mighty busy. That's a lot of work, too.
Very busy.
All right, the energy assistance programs, there's more than one.
Yes.
There's the CIP and the LEIP or something like that.
It's the Crisis Intervention Program, or CIP.
Okay.
The other is the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, where people may have referred to it as LEAP.
Okay, and I just misspelled it. It's LIEP.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about, first of all, when do these two programs usually run? First of all, the CIP, when is that?
Right. The Crisis Intervention Program runs the state fiscal year, which is July 1st through June the 30th. The Low Income Energy Assistance Program will begin in December. That opens up to the elderly population that are age 60 or above, and the disabled persons that are receiving services through the Division of Aging and Adult Services.
Okay, we're going to break this down. I want to talk about the CIP, but first I want to mention the LIEP starts in December.
Yes.
Is there anybody who may take advantage of that later in the year, is there anything they need to be doing now to prepare for the LIEP? Such as is that a program where people all of a sudden they say, oh my goodness, I need help right now? Is that what happens?
Well, usually what happens, it's a one-time annual vendor payment for eligible families in the county to help with their heating bill.
Okay. So they won't know that they're in need of help until December or when actually they need it.
Right.
Is that right? Okay. Well, we'll talk about the LIEP program a little later on.
Okay.
We'll touch on that later. We'll come back and talk about that closer to December when it begins, so that it'll be fresh in everyone's mind. Okay. The CIP, what is that again? The
Crisis Intervention Program.
Yeah, the Crisis Intervention Program. Tell me about that. What is that?
That program serves the eligible residents of our county who are experiencing a heating or cooling related crisis.
So if it's 109-degree heat index outside, it's inside as well, and they don't have AC, that's a big problem.
Right, and during the cooling season that we are in now, that runs through October, we assist families with their light bills. They must have a cutoff notice within 5 work days from their date of application.
Okay, let me make sure I've got that now. So if someone is having trouble with their light bill, which would include everything, that would be lights, air conditioning, refrigeration of food, and all that. And this would be somebody who would be in most likely financial difficulty.
Right.
Or low income, or perhaps they're even homeless or without a job.
Right. They must meet the income eligibility requirements that are set by the state, and that is based on their household size.
Okay. Now, how big a part does the state play in this? Even though it is a county department. What does the state do?
Right. That's how our funds are allocated.
That's where the money comes from. These are not county monies.
Right. No.
This money comes from the state.
State and federal dollars.
So tax dollars are not involved with this.
Right. No.
County tax dollars.
Funds. Right.
Okay. So it comes from the state and federal. So that's good.
Right.
That's a good thing. So when somebody's having difficulty now, this would be, and they have to meet certain criteria, income criteria.
Right.
Is there an age criteria?
No.
Okay. So it could be any age person.
Right.
Do they have to have a certain income, or be below a certain income?
Be below a certain income.
Do they need to be owning or renting or anything like that? Is that a requirement?
No, that does not matter. One of the main things we do look at is the bill, the light bill itself. and whose name the bill is in. We cannot use the Crisis Intervention Program funds to pay bills that are in a deceased person's name or in a minor's name, a minor child's name.
Okay.
If the bill is in their name or another adult household member, that's fine. They just bring the bill to us. If it is in another person's name, then we have to have a statement from the person that the bill, whose name the bill is in, verifying that the applicant is responsible for payment of that bill.
If the bill, let's say for instance they're renting and the landlord, it's in the landlord's name, but the landlord requires that the renter pays the bill.
Right. Then we have to have the statement from the landlord verifying that.
All right.
That even though the bill is in the landlord's name, the applicant is still responsible for payment of that bill.
And the key thing here is that they have to have had a notice of shut-off, disconnection within 5 days.
Within 5 days from their application date, and it's 5 work days. From
So,
their
so
date.
they get a notice from the power company that says, here it is July, but August 1st, we're going to cut your power, or August 10th, we're going to cut your power off.
Right.
That doesn't work.
Right, because that's not within 5
Not
work
within 5
days.
days.
Mhm.
All right. So how does this work? What do you do? Who do you pay?
We're set up with vendors throughout our county. It's going to be Tri-County, for instance, Duke Energy, the towns, town of Fremont, town of Pikeville, town of Stantonsburg.
So you don't actually cut a check and send it to the person?
No, right, it's all vendor payments, so the
Okay.
payments do go directly to the utility company.
Do you pay the full amount of the bill?
We pay the amount that is required to prevent disconnection.
That may not be the entire
Right,
bill.
may not be the entire bill.
They may be 3 or 4 months behind.
Right.
And maybe it would take a
It only takes a
month.
portion, maybe,
Portion,
to
okay.
prevent disconnection. That's what we can approve.
So is that immediate? Do you contact the vendor and say, look, this is DSS, we're going to send you a check
Yes.
for XYZ?
Yes, the vendors are contacted.
Okay, they're contacting, and then that sometimes will slow the process of disconnection.
Right, they will stop the disconnection as long as we've made our pledge to them.
Okay. And that's usually pretty effective, I would
Yes.
think. Once you
Yes.
say, hey, this is Department of Social Services,
Right,
we're going to
right.
we're going to
That's
send you a check. Do you work closely with the vendors? Does this happen often? So they know that how this process is,
Right.
that, yeah, they can count on
Yes.
DSS.
Yes, yes, and they renew their vendor agreements with us annually.
They have, oh, okay, there's an agreement. Is this a
They have
written
to
agreement?
sign. Yes, it's a signed written agreement.
Okay. Have they been pretty cooperative and receptive to
Yes,
this?
yes, yes.
So what are some of the misconceptions that you have encountered from anybody about this program?
I've not had any negative comments. The main thing may be when someone comes in, so that everyone would know, there may be a little bit of a waiting time because customers are served on a first come, first served basis. So, depending on how many we have to sign in, there may be a little bit of a waiting time to be seen. But whomever we sign in that day, we will see them that day.
Now, this is July and August, and gee, it gets pretty hot in July and August here in
Yes.
Wayne County.
Yes.
So, and it goes through October, you say?
The cooling season
Cooling.
goes through October. Then November, it changes over to the heating season that runs through May, which during that time we still assist with those that have the 5-day disconnection for their light bill, or families whose primary source of heat is gas. We can also assist those families with gas if they are out of gas or nearly out of gas.
What happens when the season ends at the end of October or at the end of May or whenever it is? Can you not help them beyond that if we have an unusual weather situation?
Right, we can help as long as we have the funds available.
Okay.
So we go from one season to the next, just based on the months, and then we will continue on until the end of the fiscal year of June 30th, or until funds are exhausted, whichever one occurs first.
Do we ever run out of money?
Yes,
That happens almost every year, I would
it
think.
does happen.
And it's just because so many people have a problem.
Right, it is a grant program, so our funds are limited, and we just spend them, until they're all gone.
Do we apply for the grant here? Is that done locally?
No, I mean, it's just pretty much an automatic thing that, we get a certain amount of SIP or Energy Assistance Program funding each
Do you have any idea how that is determined, the amount we get?
year. I do not.
Okay, so you don't know if it's a percentage of the, because there's
Right.
100 counties in North Carolina.
Right.
And, of course, it's federal dollars involved, so we don't really know.
Right. I'm not aware.
You're not aware.
Yeah.
But there has to be a formula of some kind.
I'm sure there probably is. I think there's a formula with everything. through social
Knowing how the
services.
government works, yeah, there is a formula for everything.
That's right.
Okay, so does anyone ever come to you and ask you how they qualify, and do they have to fill out a form, or do you sit down and interview them, or how does that work?
Right. We do get phone calls, a lot of phone calls where customers will ask what does it take to qualify for the program. The main thing we tell them over the phone is you have to have a disconnection within the next 5 work days. They have to meet the income eligibility requirements, and they do have to bring in check stubs, award letters if they receive other benefits like Social Security, and their eligibility is actually determined when they come into the office to make the application.
That's when it's determined.
That's when it's determined. When they call, it's just like a little quick screening process.
Yeah.
And then when they actually come in is when the eligibility is determined.
Now, you only serve the Wayne County area.
Right.
Only Wayne County.
Wayne
If
County
anybody
residents.
lives in Lenore, you don't want to talk to them.
Right. They apply in the county that they live in.
Okay. And what are the hours here at the office?
We are operating Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And you mentioned 5 working days. Now, so if they get a disconnect on Thursday, notice on Thursday, then they have actually Thursday, Friday.
What we
Monday,
do,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
because we're not operating on Friday and then Saturday and Sunday being closed, if they're here today, being Wednesday, their disconnection must be within the next 5 days. We consider that to be by next Wednesday.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
So
That's
whatever
good.
day we're on, by that same day, the next week.
And the power companies are cooperative in that regard?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
they're easy to work with.
Yeah, most of them are, I think they really do a good job in trying to work with their families.
We only have the 2 here, right? The Duke Energy and Tri-County, is that?
We have Duke Energy, Tri-County, Town of Fremont,
Town of Fremont.
Town of
huh?
Pikeville,
Okay.
and Town of Stantonburg.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Stantonburg. Part of Stantonburg rolls into Wayne County?
Mm-hmm.
That's
There
actually
are
Wilson
some
County. isn't it?
addresses. There are some of the addresses in that area that are Wayne County.
Okay, so folks with a Stantonburg address who live in Wayne County can
Right.
actually still get help.
Would still get help in our county. Hmm.
Okay, very good. As long as they live within the parameters of Wayne
Right.
County,
Right.
the line.
And then during the heating season, when we assist the families with gas, we do have, of course, gas vendors all throughout the county also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, several of those. I
Yes,
imagine.
have a
Yeah.
lot of those.
What about the gas vendors? Are they cooperative as well, or do you have a little trouble with them sometimes?
Well, no, I mean, most of the vendors that we work with, I mean, we've been very successful in getting them the information they need, and then, of course, them getting us the information that we need to be able to complete the process.
Yeah, I would have to think that they would be more than cooperative, because they understand not everybody has it easy.
That's right.
Some people have
That's
it
right.
tough.
Yes.
And they want to help people as well.
That's right.
You know, because they're
Yes.
putting a product out there, and they paid for that
Right.
product, so they want to get their money back.
Right, right.
So
That's
I'm sure
exactly
they'd be
right.
cooperative.
Yes, yes, we've
Very
been very
good.
successful with that.
Okay, so as far as you know, most people are understanding the process when they come to you.
Right.
They know what they have to do because they've called and talked.
Mm-hmm.
So again, how long does it take once somebody comes in and you interview them, you sit down, they fill out the paperwork, they bring everything they need, they bring
Right.
check stubs, they bring whatever income,
Right.
proof of income they have, and get all and the disconnect notice. How long does it take from that point to the time that the vendor gets the check?
We will have the monies to them within 30 days from the date of application.
Okay, and that's satisfactory to the vendor.
Yes, that is a policy that's set forth. We'll go ahead and make the pledge so that they'll know the money is coming, and then we have 30 days to get the actual funds to them.
Okay. Wow. How long you been doing this?
A couple of years.
Huh?
Just with this particular program. I've worked at the Department of Social Services for a
Yeah.
little over 20 years, but the energy program, just a couple of years.
How long has the energy program been in place? Did you come aboard when it started, or was it already in place?
It was already in place when I came aboard for the program.
There used to be a program of collection of fans that would be dispersed to the needy and the elderly in the area. Was that part of this program as well?
Well, with the crisis intervention program, we can assist actually also with purchasing a fan if there's a vendor that agrees to set up, with us to purchase the fan. But in order to do the fans, the family has to have no cooling source at all.
They can't have an air conditioner.
Right. Or their cooling source has to be broken.
Right, okay.
in order for assistance with fans.
All right, well, that would be, you'd be dealing directly with the retailer then,
Right.
in most cases.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Wow, Vicki, do you like your job?
Oh, yes.
I bet you do.
I've been here 20-plus years.
Yeah,
Of course I do.
Of course you do. That's great. Well, this is a very interesting program. Now, we want to come back, and we want to talk to you later on about the LIEP. I spelled
Okay.
it right.
LIEAP.
AP. I didn't spell it right.
Oh, you left the A out.
I did leave the A out. Okay. All right. Well, I'll get it right one of these days. I'll go
That's
read
all
about
right.
it.
It's a little bit of a tongue twister.
It is a bit of a tongue twister. The LEAP program, we'll talk about that later on.
Okay.
But way to go on the CIP program. Now, if anybody has any questions, they can call you
They can call
or the
to-
office.
Right.
At what number?
Right. It's 919-580-4034.
919-580-4034.
4034.
4034.
That is the main number to the Department of Social Services, and
Okay.
the switchboard operator can get them to whomever they need to speak with.
So they want to talk to somebody in the CIP program.
Yes. CIP, energy assistance.
Energy assistance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And again, what are those hours?
Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, that's long hours.
Yes.
All right, that's 10
4
hours.
days,
That's
10 hours a day.
10 hours a day. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, very good. And I know on the Wayne County, WayneGov.com website, you have a page there, but is there any information about the CIP on the county's website that you know of?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I have not looked lately.
Why don't I just cut this part out?
I started to say that. I was fixing to say, and you know, and actually I was sitting there thinking there actually probably is.
Probably is.
But
That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to cut this out.
I actually have not looked at that. But anyway, okay.
3, 2, 1. I appreciate you talking with us today about the Crisis Intervention Program?
Yes.
Crisis Intervention Program, CIP. We've been talking with Vicki Jackson, who is in the CIP program here with the Department of Social Services of Wayne County. Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you very much.